Happy Thursday, everybody. We got some Thursday tea to talk about. So grab a beverage. Hopefully you're wearing something comfy and let's get started.
If you like what you see, come and get it with me. I know you deserve all you want, 'cause your heart's made of gold, but don't wait till you're old. If you want it, I get you some.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel, stand-up comedian and pop culture vulture. Joleen Lunzer here for another episode of No Offense, All Offense, our live show here on YouTube where we talk about pop culture, our favorite reality shows, and all the news stories that we are interested in. It's No Offense, All Offense because we never really mean any offense, but someone might take offense to it. Remember that I am very opinionated, but you are welcome to have your opinions in the chat, and we can agree to disagree as long as we're respectful to one another.
That's my opinion!
It's as simple as Tamra Judge has said. If you are joining live, make sure you smash that like. If you're joining later, hello, replay crew, and make sure you smash that like as well. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. We are getting closer and closer every day to 40K, which is amazing. I think now, let's see where we're at with our subscribers. We have 38,710 subscribers. So just a few more to get to 40,000. Yes, Rusty says, I love a no offense, all offense in the morning. Who doesn't, Rusty? Thank you guys for joining live. Please sound off in the comments with everything we talk about today. I love to see all of your thoughts, hopes, dreams, and opinions. And if you want to support the channel further, you can always send a super chat while we're live. I'll highlight your comment. We can talk about it. I can send, or you can send, I could too, I guess, to myself. Send a super thanks after the video posts, or you can join my YouTube membership, check me out on Patreon, or hit me up in the Venmo, PayPal, Cash App. Everything is in the description of this video. Okay, Christina's here. Howdy, pals. Linda's here. And yes, like Jamie B says, smash that like. We did hit our like goal yesterday with our live we did with Ryan Bailey from So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bailey. We hit the like goal of 1,000, but keep liking that video. We had so much fun yesterday. So if you want to, if you haven't already watched the video that Ryan Bailey and I did, it is, it's there for you to watch. Also, this week I've just had so many fun people. I had my friend Rebecca Lieb, who is a hilarious comedian, TV producer, writer, and also the host of Vanderpumprules, the Vanderpumprules podcast. Now, good news for those of you who have been asking me, when is your California show? Joleen, when is your San Diego show? Well, have no fear. My San Diego show, the tickets are now live for that. I will be in San Diego August 10th at 7:30. And then I'll be headed to Arizona. Or wait, I think I'm in Arizona first, August 8th. And then San Diego. Here is the link to the tickets. I've put it in the live chat. I've pinned it, you guys. So August 8th, I'll be at Mic Drop Comedy, and that's in San Diego on Claremont Mesa Boulevard. And I'll be there headlining, so you can come see me do stand-up comedy if you are in that area. However, I will say this. This show, the showroom is smaller than the one in Arizona. So there are only 50 tickets, I believe, to this show. So please make sure if you are interested in coming, and gosh, I would love to see you, you get your tickets as soon as possible. Also, let me know when you do get your tickets so that I can get excited to see all you guys there. But get your tickets soon because there's only 50 tickets, and I don't want you to not get in where you fit in, okay? And the sooner we sell out, the sooner we can book another one. All right. Yeah, Chicago has comedy, and I love Chicago. I got to hit up some clubs there and stuff. So yes, go buy your tickets, Linda. Let me know, everybody. And 50 tickets. 50 tickets in this room. And so you got to get them. 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 All right. Okay, let's get into some news stories. Obviously, I provide comedy and commentary over here as we talk about what is happening in the world of Bravo, reality TV, gossip, and everything in between. We try to have a laugh. Not everything I talk about is funny, but we try to have a good time, you guys. Okay. So, let's start with kind of the less funny things first, I think. And thank you, DGTVR, for becoming a new member. Welcome to the membership. Thank you, Valerie, for liking the Rylene. We had a lot of fun. So Ryan Bailey will be back very soon. Next Wednesday, I'm going to have Christina Coca. So that'll be fun. So lots of fun guests and people to talk VPR and that stuff with. Okay, first things first, let's talk about Diddy. And we have two stories I want to talk about. One is with Cassie. So Cassie Ventura broke her silence after that video came out in the hotel. And we all have now seen that video. There's no reason for us to watch that video again. But Cassie has spoken out. And this is an article from, is this People? Yes, this is People. And I apologize, you guys, if you do hear the notifications going off on my phone. It's only because we dropped little Buffy off at the groomer today. So as soon as they send me a text, I got to head over and pick her cute little booty up. Otherwise, I would turn off my notifications here. Okay, so let's talk about the Cassie incident. Okay, so Cassie Ventura breaks her silence, according to People magazine. After Diddy abuse footage surfaces, she says, "I will always be recovering from my past. My only ask is that everyone open your heart to believing victims," the first time the singer wrote in an Instagram post. So Cassandra Cassie Ventura is speaking out for the first time following the release of a 2016 video that showed her being physically abused by ex Sean Diddy Combs. On Thursday, May 23rd, Ventura 37 released a statement on Instagram. So that was today. Expressing her thanks for all the love and support from my family, friends, strangers, and those I have yet to meet. She went on to explain that the outpouring of love has created a place for my younger self to settle and feel safe now, which is just so beautifully painful. Just how strong this young woman continues to be after everything she's been through. Let me share her Instagram post here so we can take a look at that. Let me remove this. Okay, not that, Joleen. Come on, stop screen. Here we go. Let's share it and take a look at Cassie, what she said here. So she said, again, "Thank you for all the love and support from my family, friends, strangers, and those I have yet to meet. The outpouring of love has created a place for my younger self to settle and feel safe now. But this is only the beginning. DV is the issue. It broke me down to someone I never thought I would become. With a lot of hard work, I am better today, but I will always be recovering from my past." And I think that's so true for all of us, to allow ourselves, grace to be in recovery. And we see this, on a different level with Ariana and Vanderpumprules and Katie, and, any kind of trauma you've faced. I think it's very important to be very patient with yourself and don't let others set the tone or tell you just because they may be uncomfortable or it might benefit them for you to move on. You need to move on in your own time, and whatever that looks like for you, whatever the healthiest way to do that for you is. She said, "Thank you to everyone that has taken the time to take this matter seriously. My only ask is that everyone open your heart to believing victims the first time. It takes a lot of heart to tell your truth out of a situation that you were powerless in. I offer my hand to those that are still living in fear. Reach out to people. Don't cut them off. No one should carry this weight alone. This healing journey is never ending, but the support means everything to me. Thank you. Love always, Cassie." So again, a beautiful statement from a woman who's went through so much as Diddy continues to be exposed. Otter says she will be dealing with that in one way or another for the rest of her life. It's abhorrent what he did, then denied. Yes. And it's also abhorrent the amount of celebrities or people with influence and power who did not believe her and kind of encouraged others to not believe her. I think we don't need to hear from like the Ashton Kutchers, and I'm not necessarily talking about this, but we don't need to hear from men so when a man is accused of something like this, we don't need to hear from other men just because you're his buddy. Be like, I think he's a good guy. Well, great for you. I'm so glad he didn't do awful things to you. It's similar to when a woman speaks up in to protect a problematic man. We saw this with Lindsay Lohan, unfortunately, with the Harvey Weinstein. And she's like, well, he was always nice to me. Well, lucky you. I mean, Ted Bundy didn't, murder everybody he came across. He had a whole girlfriend. So just be lucky it didn't happen to you, but there's no need, just like Ariana Maddox says, the devil has enough advocates. There's no need for you to take time out of your day to stick up for these men who are doing these awful, awful, awful things, these abusive men, and we just don't need it. They're good. They're good. Okay. Speaking of this, we also have one of Diddy's exes, the mother of his son, Justin, Misa Hilton. She recently, in the past couple days, she addressed the video of Diddy assaulting Cassie, and she shared photos of her kids, and she said their father needs help. She said, I am heartbroken that Cassie must relive the horror of her abuse, wrote Diddy's ex-girlfriend with whom he shares son Justin. Misa Hilton is speaking out after a video was released of her ex-boyfriend and co-parent, Sean Diddy Combs, shoving and kicking his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. The fashion stylist and designer 51, who shares son Justin 30 with the music mogul 54, posted to Instagram on May 21st. So lots of things coming out on Instagram, a lot of reactions. And she shared photos of Justin as well as Diddy's 6 other children as she reacted to the disturbing 2016 video. She said, I'm heartbroken that Cassie must relive the horror of her abuse, and my heart goes out to her. I know exactly how she feels. I know exactly how she feels, she says. And through my empathy, it has triggered my own trauma, wrote Hilton alongside images of Diddy's kids, Quincy, 32, Christian, 26, Chance, 17, twins, Delilah and Jesse, both 17, and Love, 17 months. These young people were raised by women that want the best for them. We put God and education first and have always been united in our mutual effort to support their dreams, she added. 2 of the youngest do not have their mother here. That's so sad. And it has been our duty to support them. Their father needs help, and I am praying that he truly does the personal work and receives it, concluded Hilton. The surveillance video released on CNN, we know, shows this altercation between Diddy and Ventura in a hotel in 2016 that matches allegations she made in a now settled lawsuit from last November with Diddy, the one he settled within 24 hours with Cassie, yet people were still doubting this woman's claims. So believe women, believe victims. In the footage, Diddy grabs Ventura. We know that. We don't need to get back into that. Diddy addressed the footage. We talked about that a couple episodes ago of No Offense, All Offense. In that Instagram post, that was a no apology. It was pathetic. And he is out there relaxing, whether it be in Miami or Bali with Russell Simmons or whoever the hell he's with. And he said things like, it's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. Sir, nobody cares how difficult it is for you. You've caused so much trouble, and I look forward to you continuing to be exposed. The Bad Boy Records founder continued that he took full responsibility. I doubt it. If you took full responsibility, you would have owned it when you were first accused of it. You wouldn't have denied it. You wouldn't have put it on your social media that these people were lying to get money out of you, only for them to continue to get victimized and attacked, which is exactly what you did, Diddy. So miss me with all that. He concluded the statement by saying he's truly sorry. I, Joleen Lunzer, do not believe that this man knows how to be truly sorry. I think he has a God complex. I think he believes he can get away with anything. The fact that he was willing to do that while whilst, is that the word? Knowing that cameras were there at the hotel is terrifying and such a problem. I don't think there's rehabilitation for this. I really don't. Nor do I think this God he speaks of wants to be brought into this, okay? Maybe you should have been thinking of God and a higher power before you were victimizing all of these women, men, and stealing people's dreams and ripping people off financially. So no sympathy here. Sorry. No offense, all offense. Sorry, not sorry. A representative for Diddy did not immediately respond to people's requests for comment. Surprise, surprise. Ventura's attorney, so Cassie's attorney, Douglas H. Wigdor, said in a statement previously obtained by People that the video confirms her allegations. Combs' lawyer had previously denied any wrongdoing on his part. How pathetic. Both when Ventura filed and when the rapper later settled. Yes, because whenever you're innocent, you settle within 24 hours and pay someone a large sum of money. I mean, again, acting like the public is stupid. We're not idiots, all right? The gut-wrenching video has only further confirmed the disturbing and predatory behavior of Mr. Combs. Words cannot express the courage and fortitude that Miss Ventura has shown in coming forward to bring this to light, her attorney said in a statement. Oh my goodness. And we know that he's kind of been, flaunting, for lack of a better word, his kids out there, trying to garner some kind of sympathy. We've seen this before with predators like him. But I'm a father. Well, you didn't think of that when you were doing this shit, sir. I feel sorry for your children, especially your little baby girls. But, again, you're only now you're using them as like a tool in your weird manipulation. No, thank you. Bye-bye. So Misa previously commented on Diddy's ongoing allegations and legal issues after Justin and Christian, her son, you see her pictured with here in the picture I just put up, were handcuffed amid a highly publicized property raid on Diddy's house in March when the feds and Homeland Security showed up. The overzealous and overtly militarized force used against my sons, Justin and Christian, is deplorable, she said at the time. If these were the sons of a non-Black celebrity, they would not have been handled with the same aggression. The attempt to humiliate and terrorize these young Black men is despicable. I would also argue why, if the rumors were that Diddy was tipped off to this, therefore he was nowhere near either of the homes when they were being raided, why did he not protect his children? Why did he not protect his sons? So I think more of the fault lies there on Diddy. But again, that's just my opinion on that. The BBC is also reporting that there is a model alleging that Diddy essayed her. So a model has accused Sean Diddy Combs of drugging and essaying her in 2003, the latest in a string of allegations against the rapper and businessman. Her name is Crystal McKinney, you guys. So the allegations keep coming out against this monster of a man. And according to this, Crystal McKinney said in a lawsuit that Mr. Combs invited her to his New York studio and supplied her with alcohol and marijuana until she became intoxicated. He then forced her to perform the oral, she said. BBC News has asked representatives of Mr. Combs for comment. Earlier this week, Mr. Combs apologized. Nobody cares. Last month, houses were raided. Miss McKinney filed her complaint under New York's Victims of Gender-Motivated Violence Protection Act, which allows victims to file claims regardless of when the abuse occurred until 2025, which again, this whole statute of limitations seems to be working against victims and for the perpetrators. So again, I ask, what's the point? It seems to just exist to protect the bad guys. It's truly, truly sad. And really a huge flaw and fault and failure of our justice system. The complaint also names Mr. Combs, Bad Boy Entertainment, his clothing label Sean John, and distributor Universal Music Group. The BBC has also requested comment from Universal. They hadn't got it yet. Miss McKinney said she was an up-and-coming model when the unnamed fashion designer introduced her. I don't know which unnamed fashion designer, it doesn't say. Obviously, because he's unnamed, introduced her to Mr. Combs at Men's Fashion Week event. The designer began to direct plaintiff's appearance as he sought to ensure Combs found her attractive, according to the documents. At the event, Miss McKinney said Mr. Combs made suggestive remarks, offered to help her career, and plied her with alcohol. That's what they said, plied. Interesting term. He invited her to his studio the same night. Miss McKinney said Mr. Combs was drinking and smoking weed with several other men, offering her some. One told her, "You've never had weed like this before." And we know there have been lots of allegations and lots of people who used to work for Diddy or work for Bad Boy who have said that allegedly Diddy is known for drugging the women at his parties or the women he has assaulted. And he's used, whether it be some kind of Rohypnol or GHB or something, putting it in people's drinks to the point where some of the men who would party with Diddy knew that those were drinks or pills or certain things they shouldn't take. That was for the ladies, which is horrible. Miss McKinney said she interpreted that to mean the marijuana was laced with another substance. Once she was very intoxicated, Mr. Combs led her to a bathroom where he forced her to perform the oral. And she lost consciousness afterwards and awakened in shock to find herself in a taxi cab headed back to the designer's apartment, feeling humiliated and traumatized without recourse. Miss McKinney said modeling opportunities began to decline for her, and she believed Mr. Combs used his influence to blackball her in the industry. In a tailspin of anxiety and depression, Miss McKinney said she attempted to take her own life. Miss McKinney said she filed the suit to seek justice for herself, for any other and for any other of Combs' victims. So Diddy just still proven himself to be the trashiest, just the Harvey Weinstein of hip hop. And I don't know about you guys, but I can't wait until there is some kind of indictment comes down on this guy. And yes, Brother Cat said it's all coming out in 2024.
All people that love the truth got to be happy if the truth coming out and lies is getting exposed. That's just what time it is. 2024, folks.
2024, folks. So I don't think, especially since that video has come out, I think there's going to be so much more, whether it be actual video footage or lawsuits or people coming out of the woodwork. Obviously, there are people that worked for Diddy who continue to talk about their experience with him. And one of those guys is Gene Deal. He was formerly his bodyguard. He was a bodyguard for quite a few people, but he recently spoke. I mean, he's speaking all over the place. But he recently spoke about Misa Hilton in particular, Diddy's ex, who we just talked about, who spoke out, the mother of his son. And I should pull her picture up again here. Oops, wrong one. So he said that he went and was a bodyguard for Misa, who is the mother of Justin, Diddy's 30-year-old son. And I think this is the audio clip here. We'll take a listen to what Gene Deal has to say.
Man, I got a residency, bro. I'm officially the second virtue. You know what I mean? I really appreciate you on today, man. You know what today is, right? Imagine, man, the people he would have put on in Brooklyn.
Okay, he's talking about, it was recently Biggie's, I think, 52nd birthday. And he makes a interesting point that the Diddy created an environment that allowed for both Tupac and Biggie's deaths.
Big, man. Happy B-Day to Big. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So with that being said, man, let's get right into it, my man. What you think about the apology video by Diddy? What apology video? He didn't apologize, bro. He did not apologize. You know, if he was going to apologize, he should apologize to Miss Wallace. That should have been the first person that he should apologize. No. He should apologize to Misa. He should apologize to Kim. He should apologize to Miss Wallace. He should apologize to Wolf's mother, Miss Jones. That was not an apology, bruh. That was somebody saying, I'm upset, or I'm mad, or it's bad, or it's effed up that I got caught. That's what that was about, bruh. that was that was, if that was an apology, that was the most, what they call it, ingenuous. I guess that's the
one thing about Gene Deal. I know people have their criticisms about Gene Deal, but my favorite thing is how he will he'll just be like the words that sometimes he just is like, is that the word? He was trying to think of one interview, PTSD, and he was like, what is it? SDPT or something. So gotta love Gene Deal for just a little bit of comic relief in this very, very serious matter.
I'm messing it up or whatever. That was phony and baloney on a pickle sandwich. I could say that a whole lot better because it was not an apology, man. You know what I'm saying? For what he did and how he did it, I didn't see an apology. You know, he may have used the word, I apologize. For what? He never admitted that he said the video. So if you didn't see the video, you don't know what he's apologizing to. And I know it was shown to a lot of people. A lot of people cared not to look at it because they heard what it was about. You see, Common came on TMZ and he said, yo, listen to me. When I knew what it was about, I wasn't going to even look at it. I don't want that kind of spirit.
I will say, I think every man should definitely watch this. So I think a lot of, and maybe some men, you know, who have been in abusive situations, obviously they're going to be triggered. But if you were ever anyone who doubted Miss Ventura, or if you are ever anyone who just doesn't get it or has ever said, you know, women are liars, maybe take a look at that video.
With that kind of energy. So a lot of people who know what it's about or heard what it's about didn't even look at it. He said, yo, he should have been, I apologize for striking Cassie in her head. I apologize for throwing her to the ground and dragging her and treating her the way that I did. He should have been apologizing like that to her. And then apologize to the people. But it didn't happen, bro. It didn't happen. That was some lame bull crap. See?
Gene said that was some lame bull crap, and I do agree with him there.
Wow. That was big, though. That was big in so many ways, man. I was catching flack, talking about, I never heard of that before.
Okay, so this is when they're talking about Misa coming forward and saying that she hopes Diddy, you know, gets help, and that what he did was very triggering to her past trauma, which everyone took as indicating that Diddy, obviously, who now is showing, according to allegations, that he allegedly has a history of abusing women. So her speaking out after seeing the Cassie video and saying that her heart went out to her and she knows exactly how she feels, and through her empathy, it has triggered her own trauma. People are like, oh, that was kind of Misa admitting that she too was abused by Diddy.
She seen the video, it brought back her own trauma, and she knows how Cassie feels. Wow. That was big, though. That was big in so many ways, man. I was catching flack, talking about, I never heard of that before. I never heard that Puff ever put his hands on Misa. You just making stuff. If you saw it, you know why you ain't do nothing about it. I didn't see it. And I always say, Mighty, when I heard something, somebody, and these are the people who were saying it, I always say that. I don't try to claim everything. If I see it, I'm going to tell you I saw it, if I want it to be known. But I said I heard he beat her so bad, she had to. Misa was a little thing then, too, man. I mean, like, Misa was a little thing. Beautiful little woman, but Misa was like, because I used to when I left Bad Boy, check this out. And people don't know this. When I left when I started working for Puff, I started working for Misa. Misa called me up, yo, Gene, I'm scared. I'm afraid. I be wanting to go to parties. I be out. And I know Puff or nobody gonna do anything if I got you with me. I used to bodyguard Misa. She didn't go out all the time. She was trying to get her business up. But when she wanted to go to places and be out and be seen, I was with her. You understand? Misa is like, you know, she may be Asian descent, but she like one of those strict, like those down south mothers. Yo, she did not play. I don't know how Justin.
So very interesting that he then went on to bodyguard for Misa. And according to Gene Deal, Misa hit him up because when she went out, there were, and you hear this from a lot of the people who have put allegations against Diddy, is that they were afraid, going out, and that there would be some kind of retaliation. And we've heard that, he would, despite the women being his exes, even Kim Porter, he still harassed and allegedly abused even after they broke up. And so it sounds like this was similar from Misa. So this sounds like it was something that the women definitely feared, because Diddy's influence and power was so great. And he was able to get away with allegedly so many things that they really were scared. I mean, it's such a deep, again, I want to shout out to my friend Mims, who covers this, and he's killing it. I got to call Mims and have him on, because I feel like he's like the go-to right now for YouTubers covering the Diddy situation. But it goes back so deep. And when Gene Deal brings up, Diddy is, in addition to being this, abusive piece of shit, he also held a lot of people's dreams in his hands. And for as much as he wanted to act like he was providing opportunities to people, it really was a man who wanted to be the star, and a man who took people's dreams, didn't pay them their fair wage, allegedly didn't pay them for things. I mean, if you look at the story of Craig Mack, who was a artist under Bad Boy and one of Diddy's first, I believe, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but first discovery artist that he discovered. And Craig Mack's his career it's very sad what Diddy allegedly did to him, and how he held him from really reaching his full potential, how he would make deals with him to, do albums and then say, oh, I can only pay you a third of that. And these are all the allegations that have come out. And it really pushed Craig Mack to a place of possible mental instability in a lot of ways, where he was doing interviews where he was saying that there was someone he felt violent toward, someone that he thought he could possibly, driving with a gun on his lap, someone, and he had this long-standing kind of not a frenemy, but this really strange business relationship with Diddy. And, Craig Mack had some early success. And I think he might have won a Source Award back in the 90s. And then soon after that, he was put on the back burner, kind of put on ice. And it seemed like Diddy really liked to have power over not only women in his life, but the artists, which is what we're seeing that he worked with, which is what we're seeing in these documents and lawsuits and interviews, is that, he would hold these freak offs or these parties or doing drugs together, these recordings he would have of people without their consent or knowledge. And then when they would find out that they were filmed, he would kind of hold that over their head. He was gatekeeping things, allegedly, with certain artists. So it is really sad. So Craig Mack went on to, he had a moment which I think he believed of clarity, and he went on to join kind of this religious group that could kind of be considered a cult. And a lot of his friends have been interviewed about it and said that they wanted him away from this situation, but he joined this religious group, aka possibly a cult. And unfortunately, he passed away while in this religious group or cult. So if you're ever interested in checking that out, to me, it's, obviously when Craig Mack was coming up in the music business, I was a teenager. So really it was Craig Mack and Biggie under Bad Boy at that time. And, Craig Mack was hitting it, he was hitting it bigger than Biggie at the time, but then a Biggie really took off. And arguably Diddy's career didn't begin until after Biggie and both Tupac died, and after Biggie put out after Puffy put out the Missing You song. And I feel like if we look back at it and we really take a good look, there was a lot of exploitation. There was a lot of Diddy exploiting Biggie's death, and he profited so much off Biggie's death, because this guy isn't a musical artist. Like 50 Cent says, he's not a lyricist, he's not a rapper, he's not a singer, he's not talented in that way. He's kind of like a curator of talented people and producer, I guess, but he really wants to be the star. But with both Biggie and Tupac gone, I feel like he was able to make so much money and do so many things, which then leads you down the road of like, how involved was this man in both of those men's deaths, So Diddy's been evil for a while. Let me see what you guys are saying here. Zev says, to be honest, our punishments need to be harsher for violent crimes. Agreed. I don't know, Tracy. Tracy says he in Bali now. It looked like he was in like a tropical place from his apology video and the videos and pictures he'd been posting on his Instagram, but it could just be Miami. But we all know Russell Simmons, pedo asses in Bali, so he could be there. La Tureg says Diddy is really terrifying. He really is. He really is. And Janine says he had a hand in their deaths. It really, the more you go down that rabbit hole of what really happened and how Diddy allegedly encouraged Biggie to go to California, when really, according to a lot of other sources, he was supposed to be doing press, I believe, in like Europe or something. There was really no reason for Biggie to be in California where he was ultimately killed. There was no reason for him to be out there. And it was a time where it was pretty dangerous for him to be there, obviously. So, and then with the Tupac thing and Keefe D, it's a whole you can definitely climb down. And so it's literally like an endless pit. Okay. Okay. Someone put in the chat and I had to look it up, but oh lordy. Breaking news, singer Sean Kingston. He's the one that sang, "You're just too beautiful, girl," right? Singer Sean Kingston's mom, this is from the South Florida, I believe ABC 6, South Florida. Sean Kingston's mom in custody after raid of Southwest Ranch's mansion. According to an attorney, the raid is connected to a lawsuit he filed against Kingston for allegedly not paying for purchased items. Oh my lordy. These raids are, let me pull up a picture here of Sean Kingston. Very interesting. Never a dull moment in the pop culture crime streets. That's for sure. Okay, let me just load that up here so you guys can see who we're talking about. All right, Sean Kingston, what is happening here? So here's Sean Kingston and I believe his mom. All right. So rapper Sean Kingston's mother was taken into custody today during a Thursday morning raid of a Southwest Ranch's mansion rented by the singer, officials say. Broward Sheriff's deputies and Davie Police SWAT members were seen serving a search warrant at the massive mansion on Southwest 178th Avenue. Officials later confirmed the singer's mother, 61-year-old Janice Turner, was taken into custody on numerous fraud and theft charges. According to an attorney, the raid is connected to a lawsuit he filed. Who's he? Do they mean she? He filed against Kingston for allegedly not paying for purchased items. Are they talking about Sean Kingston? here rapper. Okay. According to an attorney, the raid is connected to a lawsuit he filed against Kingston. Who's he? Why don't they say who he is? Did I miss that part? So I know Janice Turner, his mom. I'm going to find a different story because this, no offense to the South Florida, but I'm just going to go right to page 6. Okay. Police raid Sean Kingston's mom's home in Florida, arrest his mother for fraud and theft. Law enforcement swarmed Sean Kingston in South Florida on Thursday morning, according to CBS Miami, amid an ongoing probe relating to fraud and theft charges. Page 6 confirms the Broward County Sheriff's Office told us its investigation began earlier Thursday in Dania Beach, Florida, for an undisclosed reason, and ultimately led to the Beautiful Girls singer's residence. The public information officer notes they arrived at the Southwest Ranch's location with several detectives from the Dania Beach District, their Strategic Investigations Unit, and police SWAT team. Local news outlets reported seeing more than a dozen deputies near a command center that investigators set up in the driveway of Kingston's home. So let me show you guys a picture of Kingston's home here. Let me see. I think this one is it. Okay, let me pull this up. Okay, so here is where they are talking about, and it's just loading here. Okay, so all right, that's a big, well, I mean, it's a pretty big complex. So law enforcement swarmed Sean Kingston's home, which you're looking at here in South Florida, on Thursday morning amid an ongoing probe relating to fraud and theft charges. The Broward County Sheriff's Office told us its investigation began earlier. We talked about that. The public information officer notes they arrived at the Southwest Ranch's location with several detectives. Local news outlets reported seeing more than a dozen deputies near a command center right here at Sean Kingston's home. We're told that police served arrest and search warrants and took the Jamaican singer's 61-year-old mother, Janice Turner, into custody on numerous fraud and theft charges. The investigation is active and ongoing, the public information officer concludes. It does not appear that Kingston, whose real name is Keshawn Paul Anderson, that's a real general name, was home at the time. So it does not appear that Kingston was home at the time of the raid, as he posted via his Instagram story Wednesday that he had just wrapped a show in Los Angeles and was headed to Vegas. The Take You There singer's reps did not immediately return page 6's request for comment. Law enforcement has not confirmed whether one of the arrest warrants was for Kingston, and if they have plans to arrest the entertainer at a later time. So they haven't said anything as to if he's involved. If Sean Kingston's involved, so far it's just his mom. However, Kingston is currently embroiled in a legal battle with Ver Entertainment, which sued the fire-burning rapper for unpaid payments on the sale and installation of a 232-inch television. What? At Kingston's Broward County, Florida home, per court documents filed in February and obtained by page 6. An attorney for the company, Dennis Card, told Local 10 News Thursday he basically has a sales pitch that he goes through to defraud people. They're talking about Sean Kingston here, that he has a sales pitch that he goes through to defraud people. He induces them into giving him really expensive things. We know that our property is inside this house right here. So as soon as the raid takes place, we are going to have a crew of people in there to reassemble it and take it back to its rightful owner. Oh my Lord. The lawyer added via NBC6 South Florida, he likes having bling. He likes showing off. He's a showman. My client has a $150,000 television sound system that's in there. There's also about $1 million worth of watches that are in there. There's an $80,000 custom bed that was ordered. This is an organized systemic fraud. Oh my God, an organized systematic fraud. Well, it looks like maybe Kingston will be joining his mom then, allegedly. Oh my goodness. Kingston has run into legal issues in the past for seemingly living beyond his means. Well, he should be a real housewife because that's kind of what a lot of them do. In 2016, what a year, he was sued for $300,000 for buying jewels that he could not afford. Past court records also showed that a separate Florida jeweler sued Kingston for allegedly stiffing them on $48,000 worth of goods. How does that even happen? Did they just borrow it to him for an event? And he was ordered in 2015 to pay New York-based Avida jeweler more than $356,000 for bouncing checks and watches. Who the hell still accepts checks? Right? Thiefston, allegedly. So they went in there and they raided the place, it sounds like. Obviously, nothing happened to Kingston, but his mom was arrested. Here, let me pull up this photo from TMZ, which shows a picture of Kingston, I believe, performing on stage. And then you can see the police in the little circle shots of the picture. You can see the police there raiding the place and arresting Sean Kingston's 61-year-old mother. Oh my gosh. So there's Sean Kingston, and there are the police surrounding his home. TMZ is reporting this as well. He's in the crosshairs of a criminal investigation, and the hard evidence is in that house that was just raided. Oh my gosh. So Janice Turner, like I said, the mother of Sean Kingston, was arrested at the house during the raid and is facing multiple charges, including fraud and theft. And Sean isn't home. He was performing in Los Angeles and now on to Vegas, which I wonder if that'll be interrupted due to all of this. Because I know if my mom got arrested, if Nana was up for fraud and theft, if she took too many things out of Target on the bottom of the cart, you know what I'm talking about, Nana. I would cancel the show to come get Nana for sure. Oh, they'd be like, 69-year-old Nana Lunzer puts another above ground swimming pool on the bottom of the cart and walks out accidentally. Of course, you guys, accidentally, not Nana. So this is the amount of officers that were at Sean Kingston's house, according to TMZ. Oh my God. So far, Sean Kingston's rep had no comment about the raid or the investigation. Ugh. And Kingston, obviously, the only song I know of his is "You're Just Too Beautiful, Girl." So Beautiful Girls, he's known for Beat It and Take You There. But he hasn't said anything. He hasn't been arrested, but sounds like he's got his own issues. There are things from inside the house. Oh my gosh. That is crazy. So thank you for the breaking Sean Kingston news. Didn't think about him for a long time. That's some serious business. Serious. Yeah, you can't trust those Minnesotans. Nana, well, sometimes you forget, As you get older, it's harder to, remember to look underneath the cart and see what's up. No, we're just playing with Nana. But yay, Nana better be good. I just purchased my San Diego tickets. Yay, Linda. I'm going to see if I can get Nana to come out that weekend. So she would be at the San Diego and Arizona shows. That would be really fun. That would actually be so fun. Maybe get Nana to come up on stage. I've been trying to get her to open for me, but she just is like, I don't want to. And I'm like, you want to, Nana, and you're so funny. So maybe I can get Nana at the Arizona and San Diego show. So make sure you get your tickets to the San Diego show because there's only 50 tickets. And we're going to sell it out. And I don't want you guys to not be there. Okay, let's talk a little bit about this Joe Wenberg interview. So I talked about this with Ryan Bailey a little bit yesterday. Joe Wenberg did another interview. Joe Wenberg from the Real Housewives, from Vanderpumprules, ex-girlfriend of, okay, I don't think that's them calling me because that was a Washington number. Joe Wenberg, ex-situationship GF with Schwartz, I guess. I don't know at this point what you would consider her, but she was in part 2 of the reunion. She has done a few interviews and she makes sure to tell us, I only do some. And this one was with the ladies of Vanderpumprules Party Pod. I believe that's the name there. It's a podcast that has been around for quite a while. Party podcast. Okay. So yes, the Vanderpump Rules Party podcast. You can find them on the anywhere you find your podcasts. I'll put a link here in case you want to check out the full episode, because we definitely want to support women content creators. They had her on their podcast. I listened to it, you guys. I'm gonna have to listen to it again. So there's the link in the chat if you guys want to go check that out. It was a mess. All right. So on May 20th, a couple days ago, they put out this interview with Joe, and it was on the night. So it'd been Tuesday night, the night that the Vanderpump Rules Part 2 reunion aired. And the episode was called Unedited Joe, interview with Joe Wenberg. Joe Wenberg, their description of it says, Joe Wenberg joins us tonight as we chat about the reunion and the entire season. We hope you enjoy this episode. And they talk about it there. So go show these ladies all the love. Let me just play, an error card. Let me just play a quick, make sure that the groomer did not call me, and then we'll get into this with the rumors, the nastiness, the rumors.
Where's Meredith Marks when I need her?
The rumors, the nastiness, the rumors, the nastiness. You want me to go there with her husband? I can go there. You can leave.
Okay, we're just going to do a little bit of fair use commentary on a couple of clips. We're not going to play the whole podcast because I want you guys, if you want to go watch the whole thing, I want to give these ladies their flowers, their views. I don't want, to just have it here. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. We want to support women. Now, I will say, it was a mess. So Joe, you guys know Joe, who likes to be like, they call me a crackhead, even though you made the joke about yourself in 2019 and then went on to change the caption. But okay. So Joe Wenberg, the kind of the victim, I would say, of the season. She definitely likes to paint herself as a victim from this season. She has a lot to say. And here, let me share. I made a little. Here's from the reunion, just a little montage of them. Okay, so let me see which clip this is. We can listen to some of the audio, but again, you can go to the Vanderpump Rules Party podcast. This is where Joe, I believe, talks about her journey on Vanderpump. So let's just take a listen. She definitely hates Katie. What I got from this is she definitely has a lot more hostility toward Katie, which is shocking since Schwartz is the one who treated you poorly, and the women at the reunion seem to give you quite a bit of empathy and understanding and had your back, while Schwartz was there to just continue to humiliate you, do his little covert bullshit, and talk about how beautiful his new girlfriend is. Now, Joe said that she didn't hear that comment, or she heard it, but she wasn't next to him at the time, that she was backstage. And the way they edited it, they made it look like she was next to him when he was talking about how beautiful his new 23-year-old girlfriend, Sophia, is. But this, I'll be honest with you, this interview was so hard to follow, and not due to the host, but Joe. Joe was trying to take over the interview. The hosts were being so gracious with her. It seems like they wanted to really give her a voice, and that was extremely kind of them. But she took over the interview. She was all over the place. She did that thing where she doesn't finish her sentences, and it was a mess. She also was pushing Shop Joe. My gosh, there wasn't any discussion about Checkers or possibly losing his second eye and going blind, which she started a GoFundMe for, which we've talked about. It was just a mess. And I thought at times Joe was kind of rude to the hosts, where it seemed like she was laughing at them at certain places. There were times where I felt like she was kind of belittling them, and it was just so strange. So let's listen to a couple clips here and see what she has to say, and we'll provide a little bit of commentary. But again, you can go to Vanderpump Rules Party podcast everywhere you find podcasts and hear the full episode, which I believe is like over an hour long. It's an hour and 43 minutes because they tried to end it. There was one point where one of the hosts was like, And Joe was like, okay, let's get into it. Let's get. And she was like, well, I think we're pretty much done. And then Joe went on for even longer. And it was very manic. It was, she's like, maybe we should go live. Who the hell is at my front door? Please. I don't have time for this. I'm on live. Sorry. Okay, let's take a listen.
I mean, it was a journey. And then I remember Schwartz really supported me through it. But then it was really crazy because it was like they wanted just 2 scenes. And then it moved to the whole season. So I don't really know what they saw in me, but it's definitely not the acne. And it's definitely not the, like...
It's the energy and just...
Maybe. I don't know.
We need some lightness.
Maybe. Some darkness.
Well,
so you will notice that Joe, the way she speaks of her role on this show, it's almost with this false humility where she's like, well, I don't really know why they wanted me on, but I mean, they did. And they kept calling me back and back. And then I was like 3, then I did confessionals and I was all over the place. So it's almost like this like la feeling of she held the season on her back. So it's like a soft brag, I guess you would call it, the way she talks about her journey on Vanderpump and how much they wanted her, and she had no idea how much they wanted her on the show.
Oh, that's so
the darkness.
It was crazy though. Like it was crazy. It was like, okay, then we want you back for the reunion. We need you back for the 6 confessionals. And I was just like, what? I'm driving like my little truck, and I'm like,
paid extra to do confessionals, reunions, or after show.
Nope. You get the first.
So then just be like, no.
Well, it's in my contract.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Production was not bad. Like they set the standard.
So she goes back and forth in this interview, and if you listen to it, you'll see where she's like jumping all over the other women, the host's words and their sentences and their questions. And then she is, and then when they're trying to be empathetic with her, and then like in the situation, oh, you didn't get paid extra. And you would think someone would be like, yeah, I did not get paid extra. She's almost like very rude to them, being like, no, but I mean, that's production, where then she's kissing production's ass and says she wants to come back to the show. You guys, it was such a mess.
I did not know. Like, that's what we have to like really discuss.
A lot
I didn't have
your job for. Like,
I didn't leave my job.
No, but I mean, like,
moments.
She doesn't even let them like explain their questions. They're like, well, if they asked you back for all these interviews and you didn't know you were gonna have these interviews and you weren't compensated for these, it was just one flat rate, that would be hard to like leave your job. I didn't leave my job. They mean like if you have a hair appointment and then Vanderpump Rules calls you and says, hey, we need you to do an interview. We need one of those like, little diary interviews for you to show up. We need a confessional. It's a lot for you to drive there and all these things. These hosts were like having her back, but she was very much on edge, and it was weird.
You're like, oh shit, I gotta go. It's like,
but I always made sure that I was like da 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 da. And I also was like, the thing at the end of the day was that they made it very clear to me, and then I agreed to it too. It's not like
yeah. Can't blame them because you agreed.
Oh my gosh.
And you know what's really cool is we've been at a lot of events and they will come up to us and say like, oh my gosh, like we listened to your podcast, like you were so right about this. Or it's like
one time they were like, we need to speak with you, but I'm filming right now, so we'll find you later. And then she comes back and tells me, and I was like,
it was
shit, what are they going to speak to us about? We're in trouble. And then it was like, I love your podcast. I was like, oh,
she talked about like a song that we referenced and said like, I like that song too. Oh, it was a show or something.
We're just like panicking the whole time we're having.
But it was
like,
so we absolutely like my favorite thing is the behind the scenes stuff. So
yes,
I love it.
I think that they're gonna do like a bloopers of Joe and Schwartz behind the scenes, because it's like they had so much content. It was like,
is there more? Is possibly?
I can imagine.
Is there going to be more robot?
There's more of it's like
based on what I've seen
Munchkin transport.
There's a lot of content.
Oh my gosh, it's like Munchkin transportation, and then like and then
or is he gonna,
money.
Joseph, are you an alien? Like
yes, and he's like, where's and we just yeah. I think that there's gonna be a lot of that, by the way, because Natalie was saying that actually she was like, we've got so much content of you and Schwartz just being
Like,
two good, happy humans. So let's all take that into consideration and showcase that's
Hashtag more robot, everybody in the
hashtag
world.
shop Joe. My gosh.
yes. Okay. Shout out, like, tell everybody where to go, how to
Well,
follow you.
we're all wearing.
So she brought the house clothes and stuff, but as she's saying, we're going to see some kind of a blooper reel of her and Schwartz. No one wants to see that, ma'am. He totally used you. He is an asshole. Why would you even want to see that? I would love for this woman to kind of look within herself. It wasn't a cute, happy time. This was a guy who did not consider your feelings and considered what he needed at the time and why he needed you on the show. So why would you want to see that? Again, she has this way of with the men, whether it be because, some people might say, oh, it's just because her and Schwartz were in a relationship and she still loves him. No, she does this with Tom Sandoval. She puts like these rose-colored glasses on when she looks at the men on the show, but the women she's so critical of. And I will argue that the women are the only ones who had her back, especially at the reunion. Tom Sandoval's like, oh, the relationship TV didn't show what it was. And Tom Schwartz was obviously throwing her under the bus and now is out there, and she did this interview after knowing all this, that he's out there saying she's a liar. She does these egregious lies. He'll never talk to her again. They weren't in a relationship, but yet she still has these like nice thoughts when it comes to the men. And the women, she was talking about Katie and she continues to say, well, I think it's because Katie she was jealous, because me and Schwartz got along so well. And I'm like, what? Because we had such a connection. But you didn't. So Schwartz and Katie had a connection that lasted 12 years or so. Yours was not that, ma'am. And then the host even said, oh, well, maybe because it reminded her of like early Katie Schwartz. No. So whatever fictitious thing you've created in your head, whatever your revisionist history is, or whatever he led you to believe during that time, I think we are now seeing from his actions and have seen throughout the season and the reunion and postseason that those were not true. So, oh my goodness. Let's get to a different. Okay, so then they finally end it. Let's see what this one is. Let's take a listen.
Because it takes a journey to get to it takes a journey to get from one place to another. Takes a village. No, but for me, there wasn't a village. It was me. It's true. Yeah, alone going through it.
Have there been people who have reached out to you, like?
So now she's talking about her role, her journey on Vanderpumprules. It's just her.
We're saying that they have felt like you before. Have you found that community of people looking for support from you?
Yes. I've really found, well, I mean, I already had a really good like structure prior, but I really found like the most amazing people that, like you guys even, like people that can kind of like look through and see me and see that like,
It's not all there is that we see on the
yes,
TV
it's not all that
we understand editing.
But if anything, you're gonna see the most the person that's the most real is basically me on that screen. Like, yep, no makeup.
I mean, this is kind of that false humility. These are those humble brags. She's the most real. Why? Because you don't wear makeup. And ma'am, you do wear makeup. We see it and it's okay. Why are we acting as though if women put makeup on, it somehow devalues them and makes them less real? What are you talking about? You work in the beauty industry. This is weird.
And see that like,
It's not all there is that we see on the TV.
Yes, it's not all that.
We understand editing.
But if anything, you're gonna see the most the person that's the most real is basically me on that screen. Like, yep, no makeup, backwards hat.
Can I ask just one more little behind the scenes question?
Of course.
So when you finally agreed to come onto the show, did you notice that the producers and the editors like suddenly did something happen where they're like, we want you in more scenes? because it seemed like
Yes.
like the first episode that you were on, it was like, here's Joe, and everyone was like, oh my God, like who is
Yes.
this? And then it seemed like it increased a little bit. So
Yes.
were you asked to do it and then they increased your filming?
Yes. I
Okay.
had no think about this. Okay, so you had obviously like you always had like the background people
Mm-hmm.
and you sign a contract and it's obviously like, okay, so like then you have like Israel, for example.
Right.
Or like you have like, yeah, like who's my dear friend. And then they had other and then
Kyle Chan.
yes. And then
Israel was going to be like seen and featured, and then that just didn't happen.
so did I. And
So there was a lot of filming.
Yeah, that's alleged that Israel, who's the handsome gentleman that's in the pool with, I'm going to be real too, I'm going to put my backwards hat on, that was in the pool when Sandoval had that cringe scene with those two women. He was supposed to be featured more on this season. Allegedly, producers or something told him that, and then he was in fact not. So I'm being my most real right now, guys.
Like
I
obviously,
filmed every episode.
Okay.
It was 2 scenes to 15 episodes to 6 confessionals to the 3-part reunion. I had no idea that I was I'm going to say it like sought after. I thought it was going to be take it away like everybody else. Like I was like, but production was like, well, even though you're going to probably get ripped apart. No, production was actually they were really cool.
Speak it up.
can you do a little robot for us?
Yeah.
How are
What
you today?
intonations?
Did you expect to
Rah.
learn so much?
Yeah. Holly, do you want to do a robot?
I love doing the robot voice.
But you hate doing the movements. Sarah will do them for
I
you.
was a mannequin model. In
Yeah,
the
there it
80s.
is. That's why the two of you are amazing. Yeah. So it was a very crazy thing where you just kind of get thrown into something and then
I was just wondering because I felt like it was they saw how magical you were on screen, and then the fans reacted and they're like, put her in, like, here we go. And then and then they even changed the music, like when you would come on the screen, it would be like yeah, you know.
I didn't notice that. Did you guys notice that the music was changed when she was on the screen? Maybe they made some kind of like funny background music, but I don't remember that.
And I feel like we really needed that this season. Like it was a heavy season. So
you're not wrong. Yes. It was like a clown music.
yeah, kinda, yeah.
You're a clown.
Yeah, apparently.
I'm trying to whoa, you're a clown. I call it like I see it.
Yeah. And then I was like,
Homeworking whore.
I would call and I'd be like, wait, no, I know. Maybe I don't know.
She called Sheena that.
I know, yeah. Oh, this is so fun, you guys.
la.
No, but I think that's a really good question. I mean, think about it this way, you guys. So I try to like always make sure that people understand it from like where I'm coming from. So really quickly, 1 minute. Think about it this way. Okay, so let's say that both of you are asked to do like a scene for a show, even though you guys have already been connected and like, like, and then all of a sudden it's, like, hey, can you do another? And I was like, what? I'm in the middle of doing hair or whatever, like surfing, being a clown, being a crackhead, whatever you want to call it.
I mean, the crackhead comments, is this really hurtful? Are you really a victim of these comments and being accused of being a crackhead? Or is this just an ongoing joke you've been doing since 2019? It's, oh my goodness. Oh, goodness.
Christ. And then going back and then, I mean, it was a journey and then.
Okay. It was a journey. I feel like this whole podcast and this interview was a journey. Okay, and here's where she talks about how Schwartz hadn't brought anyone home before except for Katie, but then Joe finds a way to one-up Katie in this instance. So let's take a listen.
That. And I had watched the finale when it was like, I'm sorry if, and then I'm sorry. And then it was, well, you're weird. That's weird. Okay. Then you go fast forward a couple months and then you do the finale. And it's she's saying I'm sorry.
Okay, so here, this is actually where she's talking about. I'm gonna have to help you guys because it's so hard to follow. Where she's talking about Katie's apologies to her, and Joe finds issue with the fact that Katie said, "I'm sorry that." But I don't think when someone says, "I'm sorry that I hurt you," or "I'm sorry that this happened to you," I don't think that's a non-apology. Obviously when people say, "I'm sorry, but," like Sandoval, that's a non-apology. So she's going to explain to us why Katie including the word that into the apology isn't an apology. And it doesn't make any sense.
I'm sorry if, and then I'm sorry. And then it was, well, you're weird. That's weird. Okay. Then you go fast forward a couple months and then you do the finale. And she's saying, I'm sorry that. Mm-hmm. I wanted so badly to be like, can we just discuss? Because like Katie does a very good job of like breaking the words down. But then when you try to break your words down, it's absolutely like you can't. So when I was in that moment, the best case scenario for me to do was to take in her apology and understand that it probably wasn't genuine, because I'm sorry that Schwartz did that to you. Okay, so let's equate that to months prior where we filmed the finale, and I'm sorry if, and then I'm sorry, and then you're weird. I didn't want to go you're weird route. I wasn't ever going to call Katie you're weird. So what bothered me the most was that there was just a moment of chaos in my brain, because I couldn't even believe that this is like almost like, what's the word where you like have, is it deja vu? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then at that moment,
she's really stretching to kind of continue to paint herself as a victim of Katie and the other women on the cast and just in life in general. Maybe it's because I'm an Aquarius, but if someone calls me weird, I love it. Okay. If you're not calling me weird, if you're like Joleen, you're like everybody else, I'm like, that's offensive. So I don't understand how weird is offensive. I love being weird. Weird is interesting to me. So I feel like she's really pushing it with that.
But sitting there with the lights on you and everything, all I wanted to say was, you're kidding, right? Because that makes no sense. If you can't accept an apology from somebody in the right way so then I'm allowed to also say like no to your apology. So no, I do not accept her apology at the chair, at the reunion, at the moment. I don't accept it. That doesn't mean that I don't, you can't accept an apology from somebody that you don't even know. So for me personally, looking back,
I don't know if I don't know how these women sat through this interview with her for this long. Let's kind of break this down. You can't accept an apology from someone you don't know. Well, certainly you can. If you're walking down the street, someone accidentally runs into you, walks into you, isn't paying attention, says they're sorry, you can go, that's okay, because it was just a mistake. So I don't really understand where she's coming from there. The fact that she's saying she doesn't accept Katie's apology because Katie didn't accept her apology when she ambushed Katie at the finale with the direction of Tom Schwartz, and allegedly Jeremiah was a bullfrog, because that's what Joe says, that Jeremiah really wanted this kind of meeting confrontation with Katie and Joe, and then Joe was nervous, so Schwartz said he'd go along, which we know Schwartz was happy to put Katie in that position. So Katie ambushing you when she wasn't ready to hear that. It was just a super weird time. And then we get to the reunion, you're able to speak, they're able to watch the season, which Katie did, and see just how Schwartz treated you. And Katie was gracious enough to be like, you know what, you didn't deserve that. And I see, both her and Ariana and all the women were like, I see how you would have thought you were in a relationship. Schwartz definitely led you on. Katie said, Schwartz, you're being a fuck boy. She had Joe's back. But Joe still couldn't see past the fact that Katie didn't accept or want to hear from her and her apology at the finale. That to me is really petty. when you can tell that someone has had time to process it. You're in a space like the reunion where you're there to unpack all of these things from the season. And Katie came to a very kind, I thought, an empathetic place of understanding that, yeah, Joe, this had nothing to do with you. You were just the last thing I needed. And I see that he did mistreat you. And I think he was acting like a fuckboy. And you didn't deserve that. But hashtag Katie was right. Okay. And then Joe's like, well, no, I am not going to accept that. So how kind is that, Joe? Joe wants to push this narrative that she's so nice and she's so kind and she's so sweet and everyone else is mean. But that's really actually pretty cruel, you know? Let me see, something's going on outside of my house. Hold on one second.
Where's Meredith Marks when I need her?
The rumors, the nastiness, the rumors, the nastiness. You want me to go there with her husband? I can go there. You can leave.
Sorry, guys. I tried to do an early stream and they're doing so much construction on my street and they're working on all of our driveways because there were some cracks and someone was out there just beeping the horn. Then I had someone at my door. So I'm like, is my car in the way or something? Because I can't park in my driveway right now. And it looks good. Looks like no issue. But it just seems like Joe's being nice, nasty at this point. Yeah, the nastiness. So she doesn't accept her apology at the chair, at the reunion, at the moment. She says, I don't accept it. Okay. That doesn't mean that I don't, you can't accept an apology from somebody that you don't even know. So for me personally, looking back, it was finale. What? Okay, let's keep listening.
That doesn't mean that I don't, you can't accept an apology from somebody that you don't even know. So for me personally, looking back, it was finale. I apologized. It wasn't enough. She decided to apologize at the reunion. For me, that wasn't enough.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense that it's petty and it's a tit for tat. You could actually tell that Katie was able to watch the episodes and see how Schwartz was behaving. And you know what? Katie knows that feeling because he did the same shit to her for years. Gaslit her, made her feel wrong and crazy and aggressive and all these things. Because he just can't man up and be honest with people. And that's his own issue. Oh my goodness. Jody, thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate it. Elaine says, Joe, my gosh, you were the rebound chick. Sad but true. Yes. Thank you, Elaine, for the super chat as well. And your dog is so cute. Andrea, oh, I love all your doggo pictures. Andrea, thank you for the super chat, says, is it just me or is she saying a lot of words but not actually saying anything? It is a lot of word salad. There's a lot of incomplete thoughts happening. Amy, no flipping why, thank you so much for the super chat, says, the weird Aquarius in me agrees with you, Jolene, right? If someone says, Jolene, you're weird, you're outside of the box, my mom would always say, Jolene, here's the beat of her own drummer. And I'm like, hells yeah, I do. I love it. I don't want to be, I'm probably more, status quo and just basic. But in my head, I do seek out weirdness. I love it. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
What about when I just have to go back to this moment. So in the finale, I absolutely gasped for air when Schwartz was just like, do you have some, Joseph, say something to them. Like, what was that moment like? You have to walk into the VIP area.
Oh, I'll tell you everything.
He brought you in, yes.
And then he puts, it's like on the spot. Like,
no, he didn't put me in. He did not.
He didn't?
No. So what happened was we were backstage because we had taken off our mics and we were able to like have.
So Joe's talking about the back story behind the scenes at the finale and how she got to the conversation with Katie. She's saying that Schwartz didn't push her there, but she's going to say Jeremiah was a bullfrog. One of the executive producers did. Nana's in the chat. Hey, Nana. Nana says, hit the like. Thanks for being here. Nana, we have a request for you for August. I'll have to call you.
A little bit like a 15-minute break. So we were waiting for, Sheena to go on. Mic'd back up. And then there was a moment where Jeremiah was like, hey, I really think that you should probably go and sit down with, and talk to Katie. And I was like, I think I should too. Because at this point, like, nothing. Whether or not on cameras or not, something from my heart and my soul, like I definitely need to talk about this. Mm-hmm. And Schwartz was right there and he was like, look, I will, like, I'll go with you. As he,
of course he will.
And so we had that conversation that you only saw like a little snippet of where he's like, and I was like, I want to tell my story or whatever I said. And what had actually been said was, I'm scared to death, but and Schwartz says, I will come with you. So then that's when we walked over and you could see him like leaning over and being like, hey, how, like, like Joseph never wanted to obviously be like negative or rude, but I really just wanted to say at the end of the day, like, could you imagine like your daughter being like bullied by somebody? And then I would assume that you as a mom would be like, hey, go just apologize and just say what you have to say. And whether or not they forgive you, it's okay. So I did once, I did twice. You don't even see this, but I did it like 4 times.
Okay. So, oh God. So she's talking about this thing I just put in the membership link. Thank you, Rainbow, for becoming a new member. I appreciate that. Okay. So she's talking about wanting to have this conversation with Katie. Jeremiah encouraged it when they were backstage, and Mike backed up to head out to talk to Katie, which is, again, so much behind the scenes, inside baseball, breaking the fourth wall. And then she was like, I think I should too. I'm reading the transcript from the podcast, if you guys are wondering, because at this point, like, whether or not on camera or not, something for my heart and my soul, like, I definitely need to talk about this. And Schwartz was right there. And he was like, look, I will be like, I'll go with you. As he, these people need to really think of something else besides like when they're speaking for their pauses. Schwartz was right there. Okay. And so we had that conversation that you only saw like a snippet of, where he's like, do you? And I was like, I want to tell my story, or whatever I said. And what had actually been said was, I'm scared to death, but Schwartz says, I will come with you. So then that's when we walked over, and you could see him leaning over and being like, hey, how, like, yeah, like Joseph never wanted to obviously be like negative or rude. Oh my God. But I really just wanted to say, at the end of the day, like, could you imagine like your daughter like bullied by somebody? And then I would assume that you as a mom would be like, hey, go just apologize and just say what you have to say. And whether or not they forgive you, it's okay. So I did once, I did twice. I did. You don't even see this, but I did it. Like, I did it 4 times and nothing was accepted. So I took that as, thank you, Melissa, for becoming a member, as her saying she was trying to tell Katie, imagine if you had a daughter and Katie doesn't have a daughter. Oh my God. Let's listen to
Whatever I said, and what had actually been said was, I'm scared to death, but and Schwartz says, I will come with you. So then that's when we walked over, and you could see him like leaning over and being like, hey, how, like, like Joseph never wanted to obviously be like negative or rude, but I really just wanted to say at the end of the day, like, could you imagine like your daughter being like bullied by somebody? And then I would assume that you as a mom would.
Okay, you weren't bullied by anybody. Katie very blatantly said, I don't like you. I don't like the way you move. I don't like the way you moved from Kristen, dropped her, and then came in here and swooped up Tom. I'm not in a good place. I don't like it. I don't want anything to do with you. She had some, what did she say? Colorful descriptors for you? That ma'am is not bullying. I think we need to look up the definition of bullying, because there are people who really get bullied. There are children who get bullied so relentlessly. You are a 36-year-old woman who can assert herself and read the room. So no. You're very capable. You're very smart. You're a very smart woman, Joe. No.
Like, hey, go just apologize and just say what you have to say. And whether or not they forgive you, it's okay. So I did once, I did twice. You don't even see this, but I did it like 4 times, and nothing was accepted. Yes. Sarah's like, what?
I feel like Billy Lee.
Yes. The Billy Lee was right there for me as well. She was like, I want to get in there. She was like, you can't talk to Joe like that. And then when I left.
Can I ask why
Yes.
if you weren't seeing each other, he said on the reunion, we stopped early filming.
That's not even,
Were you there because production wanted you there, or because Schwartz invited you as his +1 to the finale party? Or
let's move past that.
Yeah.
Okay. So
the latter.
You didn't get the.
So she says the latter. So they ask her about the finale party where she confronts Katie, And they just ambush Katie as she's like, please don't leave me alone. Katie very clearly stated her boundaries. You guys pushed past her boundaries. She said, this is so hard to follow. Okay. Were you there? They asked, were you there because production wanted you there or because Schwartz invited you as his +1 to the finale party? And she didn't answer. She's like, they're like, let's move on. And then she says the latter. So the latter would be Schwartz invited you as his +1. So she's saying production, that's how I'm taking it, didn't necessarily invite her, but Schwartz did, which just, I mean, on brand for Schwartz, trying to cause some trouble, probably knowing Katie's going to turn down his advance for that one last one-night stand. So she tells us in this interview, she slept in Schwartz's room that night. She says I think she said they didn't have sex, but, you know, he hit up Katie with that ridiculous request for, let's spend one more night together. She turned him down, but there was Joe. Like, do you see how this is working out, Joe? Do you see the disrespect? It's Schwartz. Focus all of your energy on Schwartz. If you want to expose any more messages or expose Schwartz and his toxicity, we're here for that. But this continued pile up on the women of the cast, it's not a fun look. It's really it's just not correct. Because all signs point to Schwartzy. Beach, I'm so excited. Beach says, I got tickets to your comedy show in San Diego. Yay, yay. If you guys want to get tickets, the link is pinned in the live chat, and I'll also put it in the description of the video. I think I already did, as well as the link for the show in Arizona a few days before. Karen Maxwell, thank you so much for becoming a member. I appreciate that. And La Tuareg. I feel like I need to pronounce that like some kind of French pronunciation that I'm destroying that. But thank you, La. I'm going to call you La for now. Thank you for becoming a member. Okay.
Or
let's move past that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
The latter.
you didn't get the mixed messages.
There's that.
Universe, not from you.
I know.
Okay. So you didn't get that from her, and then were you saying something?
I lost my train of thought.
I know. Sorry, I have a lot to say.
Fine.
Well, I think that the thing that really bothered me was that not bothered me, but the thing that bothered everyone but me, myself, and Schwartz and I was that everyone was very upset with the fact that I was in San Francisco and that I was there. And in reality, like, we both wanted to be there together. Like, we were both very like supportive of each other. And, you know, it's very telling that, you know, the reunion shows that he comes into my room and, you know, he's like helping me iron and all these things when, you know, like, that's definitely, like Lala said that.
I guess we're going to see that on the reunion. She's saying that Schwartz wanted her there, but I think production didn't ask you there. So there might be some of the casts might obviously be like, well, wait a minute. This wasn't in the plans. And Schwartz was just throwing in a Joe wrench. So, okay. And here's where she's going to tell us that at the end of the day, she loves Tom Sandoval, the guy that's allegedly, you know, filmed her very best friend, one of her very best friends, Rachel Raquel, without her consent while they were doing FaceTime fingerlings, FaceTime sex acts together, FaceTime masturbation. And, you know, but she just loves Sandoval, you know, but she would pick Rachel Raquel and Billy Lee over him because now Billy Lee has allegedly stopped talking to Tom Sandoval. And obviously Rachel Raquel doesn't talk to him. So both of these women have put up their own boundaries against Sandoval, but Joe's like, I still like him.
It's so irritating, but I think, you know, I know this for a fact. It would obviously be Billy Lee and Raquel at the end of the day.
So, I mean, I know she got along with his girlfriend, so it's not about that. I mean, we're not.
No, it's not. Well, it might be, but it's not. We're not gonna.
Yeah. We're not. That's not your
I just wanted to say,
bag to handle.
What was it like at the peak of Sandoval for you to?
What was the peak? What?
When the support was so strong for Ariana, what was it like to like? I went to filming at like the El Rey Theater, and I saw when you were there.
Oh my God, you should have.
Schwartz was there.
Were we filming?
I had,
we were filming.
I had Ronnie with me too, my daughter.
My God. Oh my!
But but anyways, you guys kind of were on the others, like if there were sides, I feel like you were kind of on Sandoval's side a little bit more than Ariana's. Like some people wouldn't even show up to that event.
Okay.
Get in, and you know.
We're going to fast forward a little bit to where she starts talking about, because it's just a lot of words. She felt like the whole matter was not about her taking a side, but it was. Joe, you took the side of Sandoval. Okay. All right. So then they find out that they all smoked a cigarette together, I think, in San Diego. And then I think they take a cigarette break and then they come back.
They really built up this big scene where maybe we were going to see Katie, I'll use Lala's word, being a little softer towards you. And we kind of got into it, but I was left unsatisfied. How was it for you?
Wait, what were you left unsatisfied about?
I wanted her to look at you and say, "Joe, I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for calling you a rat. I'm sorry for all those horrible things she said." And I was looking.
She did. She said, "I used colorful descriptors, and just so you know, they had nothing to do with you. I was going through a very hard time. The breakup of my marriage, the family I had built with Schwartz. You were just the last thing I needed at the time." And that's paraphrasing in so many words. Katie Maloney does not owe Joe Wenberg an apology. Joe Wenberg moved weird within a friend group. People didn't like her. People are going to have opinions about you, and they're going to say things about you. She doesn't want to be your friend, and that's okay. But she doesn't owe you anything. Just like you seem to not owe her anything. And you were very quick, Joe, to be like, "Oh, get over it, Katie, move on." Joe, have you ever been in a relationship that long or been married before and went through a divorce and very publicly on television? Why do you have no empathy for Katie or the other women, or what happened with Ariana? I didn't see you apologize to Ariana. I didn't see you own up to the fact that you knew about Sandoval while you sat in Ariana's house, in her chairs that she paid for, ate her food, and smiled in her face while knowing and being an accomplice to this Sandoval affair and going on a couples trip with them to Big Bear. We still have yet to hear you truly be sorry for that. That's a huge deal. If we want to do this comparison thing, it's a much bigger deal than a situationship you had with Tom Schwartz, who you had known for quite a long time. So you knew how he moved with women. She can't put herself in Katie's shoes. A lot of you guys are asking why Billie Lee isn't talking to Sandoval. Apparently Billie Lee, according to Joe, had to put up some boundaries with Sandoval. I mean, we know Sandoval will walk all over a woman's boundaries. Sandoval, neither of the Toms value a woman's boundaries. And then Joe kind of insinuated that it could have been Victoria, Sandoval's girlfriend, who might have had a problem with Billie Lee. I don't know if it was a problem, but that might have been the reason that they aren't talking. I mean, we know Sandoval, he likes to put his wiener all over the place. So maybe Victoria saw some stuff. I don't know, but they're not talking. I'm sure Billie Lee will talk more about it.
Like a human moment between you two.
Me too.
Where you were
you
were like, "You know what, Katie, I appreciate you apologizing." Like something where there was an exchange. And I felt like Lala just patting her on the shoulder, being like, "Actually, this is her being
And Schwartz was
kind."
like, "This is good as you're
And
gonna get."
and that didn't do it for me.
Did you hear what Katie actually said though? It was like,
you were
"I'm
shocked.
sorry that."
Yes.
So then I guess "I'm sorry that" is different than "I'm sorry if."
Like you said in San Francisco.
And I really appreciated that you kind of held her to the fire of saying,
"Yeah, I'm sorry that" is affirmative. "I'm sorry if" is like, "Well, I'm sorry if you felt that way." I'm not acknowledging that I did make you feel that way. If I say "I'm sorry that I made you feel that way," I'm acknowledging that I made you feel that way. That I, not if I. How you went to St. Thomas, you went to St. Norbert's. You know this difference. You went to far better colleges than me, Joe. Why isn't anyone? Let's understand. Why even interview? And no shade to these women, because it's a difficult job to. That's why I don't like to talk to a lot of the cast members. But why aren't you calling her out on this? Is there just some? I mean, I don't know much about this podcast. Maybe they do have a little bit of Katie bias. And we all come with our biases. I do too. But maybe it is a little bit of Katie bias or Joe or whatever it would be, where they don't like Katie. But why aren't you explaining to her that no, that makes perfect sense?
There's no excuse. And that's
There was not.
And that's
no
my
excuse.
That's
yes.
my biggest thing is like
Thank you, Amy.
we don't have to be mean to each other, and we don't have to say those words to tear each other down. Like, it was just a lot.
While you're tearing Katie down, while we're not calling this chick out. Oh my God. I don't. Where do we go from here? Yes. Thank you, Amy, for the super chat and saying, why is it so hard to give Katie any empathy? Why is it hard? Why is it hard? You know this, Joe. You know this. I don't want to shade my fellow creator because I do. One of the ladies is from Minnesota too. So I'm like, I'm biased. I'm partial. And I really love Minnesota people. So I don't want to. So I'm going to refrain, but I'll shade Joe because this is ridiculous. But I do think they should have called her out on that shit.
For me, so I'm just wondering like how you felt. And like this is like full circle of this season. How did that feel for you?
Well, that's a great question. There's a couple parts to this. So when I had watched the finale, when it was like, I'm sorry if, and then I'm sorry. And then it was, well, you're weird. That's weird. Okay. Then you go fast forward a couple months and then you do the finale. And it's, she's saying, I'm sorry that.
I want
What?
For you.
Well, that's a great question. There's a couple parts to this. So when I had watched the finale, when it was like, I'm sorry if, and then I'm sorry. And then it was, well, you're weird. That's weird. Okay. Then you go fast forward a couple months and then you do the finale. And it's, she's saying, I'm sorry that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to.
Yeah, I'm sorry that. I put the link to the podcast where you can listen to the whole episode. It's the Vanderpumprules Party podcast, and these two women have been doing this podcast for a long time. I'll be honest, this might be the first episode I've ever listened to. Maybe in the past I've listened to an episode before, but I do follow them on Instagram, so I knew that they were going to interview Joe, and I know that they've been kind of pulling for her. So I wanted to check it out, but it's a lot. And like I said, it's an hour and 43 minutes. Okay. Let's see what she says about the cast.
And do you talk to any of them after filming? And
so this is them asking if Joe talks to anyone after filming. Does she talk to any of the cast? And you will see Joe's like, she's a lot of phlegm acting up for Joe.
Wait, who? I'm just kidding.
What was your experience with the cast, like during filming and then also at the reunion? And do you talk to any of them?
And was the reunion as grueling as they say? Like everyone's always like, oh my God, it's so,
Did you have to be there the whole time? Just
Yeah, I did. So answer your question. I do not like. I think that the favorite parts of the cast were probably like Gordo and Butters, and then like Tom's plants, and then honestly like Lala's dress at the reunion, and then Lisa's, like I said, like her little
chocolate kindness.
And I love that she like walked in and she gave me such a big hug, and it was so nice. I do not talk to these people as of 2024, and I talk to some of them, but it's just more of whether it's
wait, she is like both sides of her mouth, saying one thing and then going, I don't talk to any of these people as of 2024. Well, I do talk to some of them.
A friendship or a work basis, but it's, it's not like, I'd rather like eat a caterpillar than like talk to some of these people.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not talking.
She'd rather eat a caterpillar than talk to some of these people.
Schwartz or Sandoval? No.
I am talking to Sandoval.
I asked Sandoval because weren't you his hairstylist for his shows and stuff?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
that's why I asked that.
Yes. And I am talking to him. Yes. And I think that there's actually going to be the Schwartz and Sandy's party tonight at the for the reunion number 2. So if I know it's a little bit late, but we're filming literally like live right now. So yes. So it's going to be Sandoval.
Was she trying to get these ladies to go to the Schwartz and Skeezies after party? Was she like, hey, you guys can roll in with me. We can all wear my Joe my gosh. I kind of wish that would have happened.
I do still speak. I just also have this problem where whenever I talk about a man in my friend group, then of course I'm dating him. So like I don't want to infiltrate his life and like you know what I'm saying.
He's got a girlfriend. He's very public about her.
Exactly.
He was just biting your boob.
Yes, shout out to Tisa Tells. She is also killing it with the Diddy coverage. So Mims, Tisa Tells, killing it.
Right.
Oh, I saw that.
I did not, but it's the one thing to like.
Well, they posted it.
Oh, that's right. You're not wrong. Yes. And so like, yeah, so Sandoval and I do speak, and then Schwartz has blocked me. So I do not speak to Schwartz.
When you did Sandoval's hair, like, was he like a picky client or
So
like
easy.
so easy?
Really?
Very easy.
Was he like open
That's what she said. Oh my God, Jolene, stop.
like creative ideas
Yes.
you would have?
Yes.
Okay.
And there were moments where well, the best part about Sandoval, when I did his hair for like, I would say like a handful of times, it was like, he would just be like, hey, like, let's do this, this, this. And then he was actually almost like, he should have gone into cosmetology school. He's very good at setting trends. He set the trend of the dreads before Justin Bieber did. You guys remember the green?
The green? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yes. And like, I'm not saying that.
Did she just tell us Tom Sandoval set the trend of the dreads? Tom Sandoval, green dread. Is that when he had that? I don't remember. But also, I don't think a white guy can set a trend for dreads. That's not his hair. What? I remember him having like long hair. I don't remember Tom Sandoval having dreads. Why are we always pushed? Why are they always talking about white boy dreads? Oh my gosh.
He's like, whatever, but it's
No, I
very
know.
cool to see how creative he can be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he
No,
wore
he made a
kilts,
move.
less,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Okay, like that's also a whole other Scottish culture where people just like country where people just wear kilts all the time. Like that's very normal to certain parts of the world. He didn't set this trend. He just took from it and was like, I'm going to try this. See if this will get people off the scent that I'm a complete narcissistic asshole POS who's not redeemable. I honestly, I was listening to Sandoval in part 3 of the reunion, and I do think this man at this point, he's irredeemable. He is not willing to do the work. He's not willing to see past himself. It's pretty gross. And the sexual jokes he keeps making, Andy asked him, they have a segment they're going to talk about Jax. Like, oh, who still talks to Jax? What's your relationship like with Jax? And he goes, above the waist. And Andy's like, it was the same thing when he did that joke that was like, I woke up with lockjaw and 2 weeks later shit out a condom. This man should be the last person making these nasty ass dumb jokes. Oh my God.
no, I thought that was,
He also set the trend of the white nails, the
Yes.
lightning bolt.
yes.
He didn't set the trend for white nails. Us women, we've been doing that for a long time. He stole from us. He appropriated from women as well. He appropriated our lady culture.
So compartmentalized. She's awesome. Yes. But at the end of the day, I will tell you that I probably only talk to I don't even want to like like there's nothing wrong with me being and setting boundaries with certain people at certain levels. So
Whoa. Don't start talking boundaries because Ariana can't, not to this cast, Ariana can't set boundaries. Katie can't have boundaries. You and Schwartz just completely just railroaded, just ran over her boundaries. But now it's completely fine. Rules for Joe, but not for anyone. Okay. It's completely fine for her to do that.
but if Sandoval ever needed anything, I would be there.
Mm-hmm.
We also share literally almost the same birthday, so we're very similar in terms of like very passionate, very like.
She said her and Sandoval are very similar. What did I say yesterday with Ryan Bailey? Her and Sandoval are very similar. She just admitted it. Why would you want to admit that?
We want to be as supportive, and people kind of take that as like crazy
Mm-hmm.
or kind, but Raquel, she knows at the end, like if I had to pick, Raquel,
Mm-hmm.
done, period. And Sandoval would have to be okay with that. Like he's,
What was it like? I've like been curious about this for like you, Kyle Chan, Billy Lee. What was it like?
Well, Billy Lee and Sandoval are not talking anymore.
Yes, I heard that.
Yeah, because the girl had to set a boundary.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, I will say this, that I'm really proud of her because it has to take a lot to say, and I'm not going to speak on behalf of her, but I'll say this, like, I love her so much. And it's hard because I know that everyone doesn't want to Switzerland, but I'm also able to compartmentalize friends in my life. And then, you know, but at the end of the day, honestly, I keep saying at the end of the day, I hate that. But
you know who said that? Rob.
Yes. He was
7-minute TV man.
Mhm.
Yes.
At the end of the day.
And it's like, isn't there always an end at the end of the day? Like, I mean, it's.
All right. I think that is as much as we'll cover. Obviously, there's a much longer episode you guys can go listen to if you're interested. If I pull any more little pieces from it, I will let you guys know. But that's, I mean, it was literally a mess. I don't know how. I went and checked out the comment section of the ladies who run this podcast of their Instagram, and I think a lot of people felt the same way. They were like, what's going on here? Some people were like, I don't follow this for Joe, unfollowing. But I do think that both women, the host, expressed that they do interview people, whether they're, you know, the most popular in the cast or not. They like to give people voices, and they seem to be fans of Joe. But it seemed like some of their listeners or some of the people who might support them did not like that. So I don't know, you guys. It was very hard to follow, obviously. It was, again, we see Joe not really taking any accountability. It felt like all three of them were kind of shitting on, not kind of, they were shitting on Katie. And I mean, I would have called Joe out, but they didn't. And that's their prerogative. It's their podcast. They can do whatever they want. But it was... yeah, she's so problematic, but it's interesting. It's just like, it's interesting, scary, all the things. Let's talk about something very, very positive, and that is that the Toms and Lisa and Penny and whoever else that have doubted or have tried to put salt in Katie and Ariana's business game, they can all suck it, because yesterday, the 22nd, the Something About Her opening happened, and it was a massive opening. They had lines around the block. Some of you were there and you tagged me in your pictures and stories on Instagram, and I appreciate that. According to Business Insider, who wrote an article about this, they said, I waited in line for 5 hours at Something About Her, the new Vanderpumprules restaurant, but never even got a sandwich. So it was kind of a clunky opening. The ladies came out and said that their TOS system was down. I mean, that kind of stuff happens. So, according to this reporter, as hour 4 hit of waiting in line at Something About Her, Ariana Madix and Katie Maloney's new Los Angeles sandwich shop, I watched as a car slowly drove by us. 3 phones were being held up to the open windows, filming everyone. So everyone was obviously very excited. This is something that people have been waiting for. And a lot of people want to support Ariana and Katie and their business venture. We want to support these women who this season really were getting shit on by a lot of the cast, production. I mean, Vanderpump, Andy, the hits kept coming for Ariana and Katie. So it's great to see that so many people came out to support them. This reporter says, a chant familiar to any Game of Thrones fans started to play in my head. Shame, shame, shame. Cersei's walk of atonement. This was not, but I couldn't believe how long I'd waited to try a sandwich. And yet I still waited a 5th hour and never got one. But much like Vanderpump Rules, the reality show that made Madix and Maloney famous, the opening day of their restaurant was exciting, tumultuous, and full of surprising friendships. Something About Her has been 2 years in the making. Maloney and Madix first announced they were joining forces to open a sandwich shop in 2022, joining the growing Vanderpump Rules restaurant universe. Sir, the Lisa Vanderpump establishment that the show once revolved around, not anymore, is just around the corner from Something About Her in West Hollywood. Tom, the bar Vanderpump launched with Tom Schwartz and Tom Sandybutt, the respective exes of Maloney and Madix, is a 4-minute walk away. This is all true because I've stalked the place. Schwartz and Sandy's, don't even bother. I've been there too. No, it's fine. The Tom's Acid Dream Cocktail Lounge is a 14-minute drive. You got to go that 14 minutes. That's in good traffic. You got to go all the way to Franklin Village. Then you got to it's not even on Franklin. You got to go around the corner. If you're looking at Gelson's and you're in a parking lot somewhere, there's an entrance that's really a back door, but it's a backdoor entrance. And you will see the Schwartz and Sandy's sign lit up. Okay. And then Jax's bar is in Studio City, his backroom alley bar. As their co-stars Maloney and Maddox's journey into the restaurant business is well documented on the show, which has only become more popular on the heels of Sandoval. The months after it was revealed that that Sandoval had cheated on Maddox with their co-star friend Rachel Raquel Leviss, Maddox and Maloney made $200,000 selling Something About Her merchandise. The gigs have been flowing ever since for Maddox, who appeared on We Know Dancing with the Stars. She was Roxy Hart in Chicago, which she's going to go back to in August. And she is the host of her favorite television show. She'll be hosting this upcoming season of Love Island USA. So this busy year has been happening. This reporter says, I had expected a wait when I arrived at Something About Her, but my heart started to drop into my very empty stomach as I saw 100+ people already lined up. It was just before 11 a.m., an hour after the restaurant had opened its doors, and Maddox and Maloney's fans were already in full force. One woman later told me her friend had been the first in line at 8 a.m. And I think I found a picture. I don't have it here, but I think I found it on Instagram. There was a woman that posted with them and tagged them that she was the first paying customer, the first for the official opening at Something About Her. So she sounds like she got there very, very early. This reporter said, I had vastly underestimated the dedication of Bravo fans. Yeah, never underestimate us. We're amazing. But spirits were high as I took my place in line and almost immediately began chatting to the woman right behind me. I instantly bonded with Kat, who was only in LA for 24 hours on a layover from Australia. Oh, maybe she was friends with Brockney. I'm not here to see Brock. I'm here to get a sandwich. Yes, okay? Because he's had a orgy with 2 dicks in 2 vaginas. So he's not gay. A huge Vanderpump fan, this Kat from Australia was. She couldn't miss catching opening day, even if it meant skipping some sightseeing in LA. We had no idea we were about to spend the next 5 hours together. We slowly inched past the neighboring boutique and hair shop as the line behind us quickly multiplied, curving around the block and reaching as far as Sir. And the writer of this article wrote, poetic. So if it went all the way down to Sir, that's quite a few blocks. A sweet server in a black Something About Her shirt and matching combat boots, was it Anne, repeatedly walked over to deliver trays of water to everyone. See, that's nice. Kat and I happily chatted about Vanderpump and its new spinoff, The Valley, with the women around us and waved as the TMZ bus drove by. Hour 2, she said, spirits were still high. The line was barely moving, but no one around me was deterred. We chatted with the woman whose friend had come at 8 a.m. She walked by us with her crisp white Something About Her bags and told us all to get the Viola, the Reese, or the Meg. All 9 sandwiches on the menu range from $14 to $18, are named after famous women in film. Of course they are. They were all really good, she added, boosting our morale, even as she explained that the restaurant's POS system was down. The crowd was fueling for the long haul, popping into Alana's coffee roasters next door for caffeine and snacks. By 12:30 p.m., an hour and a half into my journey, it had completely sold out of pastries. There were some brief Bravo celebrity sightings. Peter was there, she said, Peter Madrigal, who appeared on Vanderpump for 10 seasons. And then they were like, want to come back for free? And he was like, no, thank you. No, thank you. Waved to fans on his way to work at Sir. Oh, Peter, still on the grind, where he's currently a manager. The crowd cheered as Maddox came by to throw something away in a dumpster. So Ariana was there and she was doing a little work. You know, she waved and thanked everyone for waiting. You look amazing, she told a man who had half of his beard shaved off. Interesting. At this point, we were deep into the parts of the line that curved into an alley. It was far longer than it looked. At the 2-hour and 20-minute mark, the smell of hot dogs suddenly filled the air, and I briefly wondered if I was hallucinating. My group's hopes were starting to dim as we questioned whether there'd even be enough sandwiches by the time we got to the front. This is like, I feel like this is how it is the first day of the Minnesota State Fair. If any of my Minnesotan people are here on like a new booth, it's going to be a long wait. Like when they first got pork chop on a stick, which is now so old, that was like 90s, or like deep fried Snickers or something. People went ham. So they trekked on. Hours 3 to 4 sold out sandwiches. We now have been in line for the length of an average Martin Scorsese movie. The absurdity was not lost on anyone around me, most of whom had skipped breakfast. This is like Survivor, one person nearby joked. Day 50 on the island. Oh, Sandra should have showed up. Sandra and Phaedra could have come now that they have a friendship from Traders. That would have been amazing. It didn't take me long. Someone said it didn't take me this long to give birth. Added podcaster Sarah Fraser. Is that the lady? Is that one of the ladies who we just heard on the podcast? Maybe? I don't know. I gotta look. What are the ladies' names? It doesn't even say in their podcast thing. But I feel like that sounds really, really familiar. But it's not. Let me go to Vanderpumprules party. No, I don't see it here. I don't see their names. Feel free to put it in the chat if that is, because I know they went. So the women who interviewed Joe, they went to something about her the next day. Okay, so she said it didn't take me this long to give birth. That's very funny. Who had been part of my impromptu line crew. So Sarah Fraser, Fraser. I had a whole child by now. We all discussed what we wished we had done differently. There seemed to be a lot of missed opportunities to turn the opening into an event. Put James Kennedy out there on the decks and distract people. Have the Vanderpump co-stars make guest appearances. Set up a merchandise table outside. Pass out samples. That would actually been a really good idea, to pass out samples. Or have some kind of music. Nevertheless, it seemed everyone around us was making a valiant effort to entertain ourselves. I was touched to see so many people just chatting with each other instead of staring at their phones. At 2:30 p.m., it was announced the store had sold out of 3 sandwiches. The Cameron, a trifecta of salami. Okay, we don't need to know what's in it, Joleen. The Kate, so the Cameron, the Kate, and then Nancy. A server also revealed that they were no longer offering to go as an option. You could only dine in. I assume the decision was made to try to keep up with orders as supplies began to dwindle. But we were still a bit baffled knowing it would slow down the line even more. The sun came out and the California heat hit. Everyone began taking turns buying water bottles for each other. One girl offered us snacks. As she snacked, is anyone getting hangry? A third TMZ bus drove by. It had been 4 hours. Suddenly there was a shift in front of us and a sea of cameras shot up. Maddox and Maloney were at the entrance waving and greeting, cheering the crowd. Then Maddox started counting down the line, stopping right after us. Everyone else was kindly told they wouldn't be able to get sandwiches that day. I have to commend Maddox and Maloney, who spent over an hour talking to everyone in the large group of people who didn't make it inside. I saw them snapping pictures, giggling with babies, and truly taking their time to hang out with all of their fans. Many people left still smiling, and that means they did a good job. Excitedly showing each other their selfies with the stars, even as they walked away empty-handed. So then she talks about hour 5, Mission Impossible. I have never waited in line for 5 hours or 4 hours or 3 hours or 2 hours. Oh, I have. I feel like I've done that at amusement parks before. I think I did that in my 20s at Studio 54 in Las Vegas. Me and my friend Annie were in line for hours. We were in line for so long. We were drunk by the time we got into the club. Because it was like Studio 54 in Las Vegas. That club I think it was kind of newer at the time because it was like the early 2000s. So I've definitely waited in line for things. It's not my favorite thing to do, but here is a picture they posted inside. We were finally at the entrance and I could see into the restaurant's large windows where I spotted Maloney's mother. So Terry Maloney taking orders and bringing people boxes of their leftovers. We started chatting with one of the staff members working the door who told us the Cameron had been the most popular sandwich of the day. When we asked why the line had been moving so slowly, she revealed the kitchen was small. I mean, we saw it in the episode. The kitchen is small. And only 1 of 9 sandwiches was pre-made. So they're making them on the spot. As we predicted, Service had also been hampered by the people dining inside the restaurant. She told us that there had been customers who would finish a sandwich at their table and then decide to order more on the spot. Mere minutes before the clock struck 4, our friend at the door told us the kitchen was closed. I had been just 2 people away from getting served. My group groaned. We'd officially been there for 5 hours, and I wondered why they hadn't just told us to go home earlier. They still let us set up inside and grab some pastries and chips. I walked through the small but charming 15-seat restaurant, painted in a lovely shade of teal and warmly lit. People were still finishing up their sandwiches, and one girl told me the Reese was the best chicken salad sandwich she'd ever had. I grabbed a bag of chips and a pretty solid chocolate chip cookie, and she's going to show us the chocolate chip cookie that she grabbed. And I think good chocolate chip cookies, when they're fresh right out of the oven, you can get like a thin, crisp one. But when we're talking restaurant chocolate chip cookies, to me, it's all about the girth. I'm a cookie girth girl. All right. So she got this solid chocolate chip cookie. My 5-hour wait had finally come to an end. Was it chaotic? Absolutely. But what stood out to me more was I had never seen anyone in line get mean or angry. As we walked away from the cheerful yellow and white striped awning, I watched multiple people hug and exchange Instagram handles. It later struck me how ironic it was that a show centered around tumultuous friendships had peacefully brought so many people together. My stomach was empty, but my glass was half full. Oh, what a beautiful little article written by Annetta Constantinides. I apologize. But you can find that Business Insider. I'll drop the link in the live chat here for you guys. But that was really beautiful. I enjoyed this. Okay. Hey there. Just wanted to make sure. Oh, okay. I got to go get Buffy. Oh no. Did I miss a message about Buffy? Okay. Oh, sorry. On my way. All right, guys. Sorry. I thought that was like going a little bit longer. All right, you guys, I got to go pick up Buffy. Thank you so much. That's that about that. I would give a longer goodbye. Thank you, Chumbawamba, for the super chat. It's not about the sandwiches, the pasta. It's about the experience, the camaraderie. And you know, when you're going to anything on its first day, you're going to be waiting. All right. Follow me on Instagram. I'll be posting pictures of Buffy with her little grooming. So you guys, I'll be back very soon. Remember to enjoy yourself. It's later than you think. Bye.